Good morning. This is Winston Cunningham. It is January 27th in 2025. And I'd like to talk a little bit about subtlety and essence. When I've learned to look as a way of getting past the difficulty in the physical only reference to what is. I learned through concentration exercises that I could hold my attention on one thing for longer periods of time and develop concentration, which allows me to see the essence of what I'm looking at and the subtleties of nature. When a person is just going through the motions and only paying attention to the five senses and that's all, then it's limiting. But the more that there is available to anyone who practices, who is willing to do some concentration exercises. Because now concentration, let me just say this, that if you take the power from a flashlight and you focus all of the light from this flashlight into a fine point, it becomes a laser. Your thoughts are very powerful, especially the ones that you give extra attention to. And everything that you do deserves your undivided attention. So when a person, I want to point out that the subtlety of life, or the subtlety of thought, and the essence is available. And that's what I've learned to focus on. And this is when, and through the practice of the healing practice I do every morning, I'm putting my attention at a distance on different people. And so it is through the practice of healing, or as Jesus put it, let those who have eyes see. And so I've been able to develop eyes to see not everything, but I can see more of what I'm looking at. And I can see the subtleties. Religion teaches you just to go by the book. And books are good. But what I want to point out is the subtlety that you will not find in the dictionary. I mean, you will not find the subtle nature in the dictionary. A dictionary is designed to make use of every word on a basic level. There are many misunderstandings that come from just using the dictionary definition only, because it does not allow for the subtleties or the essence. And so it causes people to misunderstand words like meditation. Meditation, which is the listening within for the answer to your prayers. Prayer is the aggressive part. Listening is the receptive part. The dictionary definition will just tell you that meditation means to contemplate, to think about something. Well, that's not meditation. Meditation, as I learned it at the School of Metaphysics, and I learned to practice it, is actually listening. And it is the act of listening that it's like you going to the gym and working out every day. And the results that you see are the feel better and the look better. That's the results of you doing all of that work. Now, the results of meditation come in because you put in the work, which is listening for a specific period of time for the answer to your prayers. But there are many misunderstandings related to meditation. But you'll begin to understand it better if you practice meditation, as I'm telling you that. Because I've seen people light a candle, or I hear people light a candle and have some fumes going and some chimes and so forth, and think they're meditating. Well, I don't describe that as meditation. It can put you in a better mood to meditate. And I was not intending to talk about meditation today, but that's an example of the missing the subtlety and the essence of something just by looking in the dictionary. And this is the way people get trapped at the lowest level by religion, is because they only go so far as to think, this is what I should think, this is what I shouldn't think. And that's as far as they go, so they find out nothing over and above that. And this is where the danger comes in, and this is why religion is in the process of being replaced. Yes, I said it's in the process of being replaced. It'll take a couple of days, but religion has pretty much outlived its usefulness, because it tends to keep people down more than it does lift them up, because they're not thinking, they're not looking for the essence of anything. They're taught through religion that they've already got whatever they need, so they never begin. It's sad, but that's the way it is. And different religions have different approaches. And all of the religions have something to offer. So does the dictionary definition have something to offer. But let me point out a couple of things where misunderstanding really hurts. Meditation is just one of them, because if you put in the work doing the meditation, as I began to experience it at the School of Metaphysics when I was studying, they didn't tell me what to expect. They just said, do these exercises and see what happens. Well, what happened is my consciousness began to expand so that I could function on a better, higher level than what I was. And that is still the case today. And I've been meditating. I haven't always been religious about it, but I have in the last few years especially. And I'm gaining a lot from it. It's through what I began to experience at the school was I didn't get anything during meditation, but that practice, it's like lifting weights or doing exercises at the YMCA. You can see you're doing some good, you can feel you're doing some good, but it's because of the work you put in. And this is what happened to me with meditation. Things just started going better during the day because I was connecting more rather than being disconnected. This was what was beginning to occur. And what I would like to see more people do is to go, and it's taught at the School of Metaphysics, to get acquainted with something, or to begin to fine-tune things. You separate what seems to be similar into its own element. You separate, you identify clearly each then you admit how it fits into your life, or you admit what it is. And so you begin to practice understanding in a different way than you did, and this begins to expand your consciousness, and with your attention on whatever you're looking at, you can begin to see its essence. And this is what I've seen much improvement in myself, because when I'm doing healing, for instance, if I'm looking, many times I can see the essence of something, and it'll come to me in colors, which I understand, or at least have a basic understanding of colors. And so when colors show up, it shows me something, and I'll see things in a more in-depth way. Even at times, if I'm looking at somebody remotely, then I'll begin to see, my attention will be drawn to what is out of place, that is maybe misunderstood or whatever. And many times I've seen maybe 1, 2, 3 different things correlated into an essence of what's going on with that individual. So I can then send the corresponding suggestions to make some improvement. And so thoughts are subtle, and these thoughts will appear to whoever I'm sending them to as if any other thought they're having. So I'm not interfering with their life. When a thought comes to each person, it's their responsibility to work through that. And by using, well, I was taught to respect that by leaving room for their choice, to not force it on somebody. So that's the way that I approach it. And so I'm able to see, I've gained, the only reason I was mentioning the healing is because it's through the practice of healing. And at the school, I think I learned more in that by this practice than I did in other ways. And so the healing class and the Bible class were both optional. It was not part of the classwork per se, but it was optional, and I took advantage of both of them. And I learned, that's the way I learned the most about myself, and the most of how I can aid other people. And so the essence, let me give you an example of the essence. Many people, if you look at the dictionary, you'll see the two words, sympathy and empathy, are just very, very close together. It is only when you focus on each and begin to observe yourself, other people, you'll begin to see the subtleties of how those two words are different. But you separate the two, identify each, and then admit what each one represents in real terms, not just in dictionary terms, or or as religion would put it. Sympathy and empathy, many folks have those two meaning exactly the same thing. They have not separated or identified each so that they can use them independently. And when I hear somebody sympathizing with somebody because of an ailment, because they're having bad luck, so to speak, I'll say, wait a minute, don't do that. Or when they say, I'm worried about you. I said, don't do that. When you worry about somebody, when you're sympathetic towards somebody, when you say poor baby, it is the absolute worst thing you can do to anybody. Let me repeat that. When you feel sorry for someone else, it is the absolute worst that you can do for them. Because you're using your imagination to create what it is that you don't want for them, and they probably don't want it either. So rather than that, put your attention on what you want to see for them. That's empathy. Sympathy is poor baby. Empathy is, let me see how I can help. Even though you may not talk to them directly, you can feed them mental images that will be helpful. So sympathy is bad news. Empathy is good news. So do your own work of separating, identifying, and admitting so that you can then integrate this into your consciousness and rise up. You can only integrate something more productively by rising above where you were. And that's what it's all about, is rising above. So and look for words that seem to be the same, that are not the same. Another subtlety that will benefit you to separate, identify, admit, and then integrate is pay attention to people who have trouble with their shoulders. It comes from not separating the meaning of these two words, responsibility and burden. Responsibility is the productive use. Burden is an unproductive use. Oh, poor, woe is me. Responsibility is responding to your abilities, responding with your abilities, and therefore developing more ability to respond so that you're strengthening, you're rising above continually. Rising above is the end result of separating, identifying, admitting, and then integrating the essence of anything. When I was talking about the shoulders, when you hear people talking about, when they hear the word responsibility, the way they react to it is burden. Those are two separate words. So instead of seeing them as the same thing, you can begin to liberate your shoulders. Because what happens in your mind is transferred to the body. So all of the aches and pains do not start in the physical body. Hello? The aches and the pains start here. And it is the brain that tells the body what to do, but the brain gets its direction for what to tell the body by watching your manner of thinking. So it all comes back to you. Whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether it's ugly, your choices create your life. My choices create my life. And when things don't go the way that I'd like them to, I begin to break it down and I can see, well, I've been short on doing, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. So, and I don't like looking what I didn't do. But I've done a lot of that. Everything is available to everyone. This is the essence of the truth in its totality. You can have anything you want, but with getting what you want comes responsibility. Separate, hyphenate those two words. Responsibility, the ability to respond. Using the ability to respond, responding to your abilities, responding with your abilities. It's all in the subtlety where religion teaches just right and wrong, should not. Rise above that. You're better than that. They just give you an excuse to quit. If you're satisfied with the results, then go on. It's like Sadhguru said, if heaven seems to be such a good place, why wait? Everything is available to everyone. The truth will set you free, and what I've been talking about is how the truth will set you free. Instead of seeing responsibility as burden, see it as what it is, a responsibility, the essence of responsibility. See what you have, the parable of the talents. See what you have rather than look at what you don't have. And when you're caught up with a dictionary definition only, check it out. Don't take my word for it. My teacher, Nancy Hayek, pointed out, said she likes to go to the big library that's got the books on the root words, and she'll spend some time just looking up root words. Because the original use of the word, there's that thing again, the word, that's how much trouble has that caused? It's what the word says. I just preached the word. Well, they don't know what the word means. The word means breath, period. So universal breath comes in through the medulla oblongata and is distributed throughout the body. But your attitudes of hanging on to physical only existence keeps you trapped in the lowest level. You're better than that. You just don't know it yet. So look, and the place you look is within here. I'm Winston Cunningham. Thank you.